Hi guys, Paul from PABrewNews. Back again with another painting with PABrewNews. I'm having a hell of a time with some of the new paint that I just got from the Bob Ross company. So we'll see what's going on, and we'll just try to work with what we have going on, basically. So I'm going to try to do something I've never actually done before, a different kind of type of painting. Of course, dealing with old brushes and whatnot is always going to be a challenge. Challenge I'll always have to face no matter what painting I do. But anyway, we're going to try to do something a little bit different. Probably like a little bit of a autumn campfire kind of a vibe. However, we're going to work around with the new paint that I got, because already putting it on the canvas, you can see red. Pretty apparent. That's not supposed to be as red. I mean, there's little things that I've done, had experience doing, that I noticed that's not right. This isn't right. That's not right. So you can kind of see. I'm not exactly what's going to happen. Not sure exactly, but we'll try to go around and make a painting out of this and see what happens. Technically, I put even coat of black on acrylic, let it dry. Put thin, remind you, thin coat of oil on this. Crimson, and then a mixture of blue and crimson, which should be violet, around here. If this yellow, I'm going to put on first, just let you know, put on some yellow. If this starts turning green, then this crimson is not working the way it's supposed to. And I can already tell you, you shouldn't be able to see this. It should be in a very opaque color. Alizarin crimson is supposed to be very opaque. That's why you can put it on these black canvases and start painting onto it with white, etc. And then this magical effect happens. Right now, you should already be able to see red. Oh, okay. Hand pictures going on right now. Anyway, we're going to start doing something and we'll see what happens as we go. So far, so good. Trying to clean off the paint that we picked up along the way. Add some more yellow. Go back to our bright spot, which is right here. And we won't be going back into that bright spot. We're going to come out of that bright spot and work around. Little X's. Just work it out, work it out. It's going a little green, but more nuancy, which is fine. Which is fine. We can work around that. We just don't want it to go bright green. We can work around it. Alright? Blend it out. Alright. Clean the brush out. Nice clean brush. Again, blend it out. Blend it all out. Just like that. Make some nuances. If you want it a little bit bright, you can do that too. Come right back into that yellow. You can add a touch of white to it if you want to. Just touch this up. Touch that up a little bit more. Just like that. Clean your brush off. Go back in here. Clean it up. Let it blend out. Just like that. Again, I've never actually tried to do this. Different style for me. But basically what I want to try to do is I want to make the idea of like maybe a campfire happening here and then in the woods. And maybe I want to make something that happens, I don't know, down here. I don't know. Something like that. So right now, probably going to go into a deep liner brush. Maybe the hint, least hint of some soft little nuances of paint thinner, and then mix it. I mean, some of these paints, when you actually first use them, have a little bit of oil to them. You could use that too, just to thin it out. You just want to come in here and give it a little bit of nuance of a couple trunks in the background. Because honestly, like, most of this stuff is going to get burned out, I guess you want to call it, by the actual fire. Get burned out by the end of it. You can even put a little bit of paint thinner on there, roll it around, just give it a little bit of a nuance of branches. Just comes out here. Yes, concepts more so than exactly the way you should supposed to do it or anything like that. And, well, most of that's just ideas, concepts, work it around, see if you like it. No big deal. Back here a little bit more. I don't know. Fuck it. You're just basically cleaning your brush off at that point in time. Taking a concept, working around it. Okay. I'm gonna take the 1-inch brush. Go a little bit of that darker color, maybe even a little bit of that crimson. Mixing that crimson in there, a little bit of that lavender color with that dark brown. I'm just gonna tap a couple things here. I don't know, I'm just kind of tapping in a little kind of odd leaf patterns on some of these. They're kind of pines. Where I live, you have a lot of pines, a lot of small pines in the woods. And you're just kind of diffusing them with all this different light that you have kind of shining through in the background. That's how I kind of look at it. When you have fires, little campfires and stuff in the back of my woods, you get a lot of that pine showing through in the background, but it kind of gets diffused. You don't actually see the whole trunk of it. Clean it off. Let's throw a little bit of yellow, bright red in there. Make kind of an orangey color. Maybe add a little bit of that yellow to that. Make it a little bit of a brighter color. And then what we do is just kind of start closer to the fire and work away. Not everything should be highlighted, but blend around. Hit the high spots. You want something like that. Let it blend into nothing now. Over here, let it get darker, dark. Just like there. That's about right. That's about right. Now, where you come from in your world, wherever you live, you kind of paint the trees that you might see. You might not see the same kind of style trees, pines and whatnot, etc. You might have more aspens or maples or hardwood or whatever, whatever you are. But basically we're trying to get this kind of idea of being deep in the woods. And where I come from, you have a lot of these small pines kind of hanging over, doing little things like that. I want to use a brush now that I don't usually use too often. It's a blender brush. Hey, Dragon One. Ah, exactly. I'm still lucky no matter what. I got this little blender brush. And now this is a little, it's nuancy, but I want it softer than that. So I want to take this blender brush and softly kind of just dance over some of this stuff. I mean, I don't want to really touch it. Just kind of blend it. Kind of smear it up. Just a little bit. Just a little bit here. Just basically like you're having a good old time getting drunk in the woods. A little bit like that. Yeah, from drink some more. Yeah, just get drink some more. Drink one, it'll be fun. Pretty soon I'll look like Kate Blanchett after a while. Okay, so now we got kind of like the background going here. Now we can work from the foreground now. We got that little light spot in there. I want to build some sticks, play with the fire a little bit, which wouldn't be the first time I've ever got played with fire, but got in trouble for that. Kind of had a can blow up on me one time. That wasn't very fun. Okay, make little sticks. Doesn't really care how you kind of do this. So you're basically just making a pile. Bundle of sticks. We won't go there though. Bundle of sticks. Basically, there you go. Something like that. Something that can kind of give you the idea that you have a little bit of bundle of sticks there on fire. Nothing too crazy. You can even highlight a little bit of that bright color and just touch. Some of that's going to get knocked off here. Embers going, things happening, something like that. No big deal. No big deal. Okay, take a little bit of that bright color, a little bit of bright yellow. You can just kind of there you go, just touch off there. You can give it a little bit of that orange color too. Excuse my arm. If it doesn't want to stick, you can actually add a little bit of the liquid white to it. Shouldn't have to, but sometimes it doesn't want to flow as nice as you want it to. There you go. A little bit of an orange glow maybe in the middle. Maybe drop your thing. Because you got such a light touch, believe me, that's not rare. There. Ooh, that's nice. There. That looks like a campfire to me, I guess. I've seen them before. Seen one when I'm not drunk too, so pretty much looks like that. Go back into that dark color. Kind of obscure a little bit. Give some land. Mix it in here. Blend it out a little bit. And you're trying to basically start in the middle or start in the background and blend out. And that's the whole point. You're supposed to work outer and outer and more outward as you go along. Now, unfortunately, I'm lacking on paper towels, which the more I do this, the more I realize how paper towels are very important. Very important indeed. A little white, dark sienna, yellow, make it marbled, mix it up, and then you can just start highlighting around the fire. Make sure your highlights get darker and darker and darker as you go away. Gives you that effect. Something like that. Something like that. Not too crazy. There. Okay. Now I'm ready to have some fun. Let's build some woods around here. Okay. And get to those dark colors again. Not too dark, but dark enough. Build some woods around here. That's one thing I actually didn't put down. Yeah, build some woods around there. See if I'm getting some. There we go. Something a little bit darker than that, just so it looks really nice and dark. We can put the cap back on. That'd be great. There we go. Touch it into that. Here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So you're kind of in this little hutch back there. All these different things going on. Grass here. Coming around. See some of that dirt back there. There. Alright. Save that one. Gonna get them into a little bit of a fan brush, blending some of those dark colors together. Now we can actually start pulling some trees down. We see here and here. Trees. There you go. Some dark trees. A little bit of that crimson on that too. Let's go right into the crimson. And right on the side of it. Pull straight through. A little bit of crimson on there too. If you want to make them darker or lighter, you can do whatever you want with these. Take a little bit of dark color right in the middle. You can just, as you go along, highlight a little bit more dark color. Kind of diffuses some of that crimson that you add to it. So they look a little bit more highlighted on one side or the other. No big deal. There. Take a little bit of a liner brush. Yeah, I'm sure we have one here or there. A little bit of dark color, paint thinner. Maybe I'll have little limbs and things going off to the middle of the thing. Like I said, I have a lot of ones. They're basically just little pine trees. Have a little bit of the sticks kind of sticking off here and there, jutting out. Which way? Either way, which way, no way, anyway. So I don't get too crazy with that. Branch, there you go. Stick it out this way. The main trunk. Like that. Here, maybe little things sticking out of here, showing up. Don't forget about the little things that stick out of the grass, dead branches sticking out of the grass, things like that. They're there. The little bit more additions like that you can make, the more detail your painting actually has. There they go. Branch sticking out of his. Duders sticking out of here. Another couple duders here and here. It all gives depth and distance in your painting. There you go. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There you go. Clean that up, set it there. Now, let's get a clean 2-inch brush. Let's go into some nice colors. Little bit of paint there. Let's do a couple different colors here. Let's start. Highlight a few things going on here. A couple trees, bushes. Not too much. Push up, work it around. help form this idea of this little background. Yeah, keep that safe. Let's look at this. Let's look. Got a lot of stuff going on back there. Let's see if I can get a little bit to the front ground too. Let's take some black. Straight up black. Let's make a rock here, a rock right there. Let's make a rock that lives right there. Kind of show that it's a little rocky here and there. Alright, rock about there, there. Build some rocks. Use that same kind of color. Nuance rocks. Maybe there's a little dip here. Okay. I don't know. See about that. That's a little bit of that same kind of nuance here. Let's see. Work it around some of these rocks that we have. Something like that. Okay. Let's see. That's going to be, let's have a little bit of a break and then I'll have some water and stuff in there too. So that's kind of the fire burning out, comes out here, has a little bit of a dip. That'd be nice. So, if we're going to do that, let's take a 2-inch brush, go right into some of that yellow that we have, because no, that's kind of the color. Go right into here, start blending it down. Call that water. That knife, get a clean knife. There you go. Again, same that yellow color. Scratching a little bit of a line, just to show that's the water. Yeah, just something like that. So now we know that that's water. Water. Good. Alright. Let's see what we got going on now. A little bit of that dark color. Containing that water a little bit. Bushes here, having a good time. Something like that. It's like a little forest pond or something, a little stream. Maybe just kind of wandering around. Put a nice little campfire there while you're watching the stream. You can see that. There you go. A little bit more of that dark color. Got a bush here. There. Good. I think we have a little painting coming along now. Okay, good. Okay, take a little bit of that dark color. Could use a knife too. Might actually do that a little bit later. And we'll just have a tree that comes right there. Tree that lives about right there. And let's have a big old tree. A little bit of dark color here and there. It lives right here. Let's see that. There you go. That's a big tree. I thought that was going to be a big tree. I didn't realize it was going to be that big of a tree. That is a big tree that lives right there. Yeah, I said big tree. Well, that's what happens when I say big tree, apparently. So, by the looks of it, a lot of that. And by the way, a lot of this, one thing I've been talking about, and if you really don't do a lot of this painting, you won't understand what I'm talking about. But a lot of this paint is extremely thin, and that's one thing you don't want with this style is really, really thin paint. A lot of the new Bob Ross paint has been extraordinarily thin, which makes it hard for other paints to build on top of paints. Now let's try to get some of these bushes going here, since we have a lot of paint going on. Let's try to fill up some of these bushes. Yeah. As I said, there's a lot of paint going on now. If the paint is thin, it will simply blend into the paint underneath it, and you'll get this really mud mixy dark paint. And that's what seems to be happening here with some of this new Bob Ross paint, which I'm trying to work around. I'm trying to work around, do my own thing. Might use a different style of paint, just because the fact is it's getting harder and harder and harder to get paint that works. But right now, there we go. We're gonna try to keep it up. Keep it up for right now. Okay. So now I'm going to take a little bit of a knife. Okay. And I'm going to start building a little bit more detail onto this specific tree. A little bit of that dark, that violet color just on the back end here. Just to build a little bit of a back shadow on some of these trees. A little bit on that tree right here. And just this one right at the back end. I'm going to do a little bit on the, I'm going to go a little bit brighter than just crimson, but I think first I'm going to use crimson. And we're going to just dance on along the side with crimson. Kind of see where it picks up and leaves off. Go mix it all in. Same thing again with this one. Run the side of the crimson. And it'll leave what it wants and give you back what it doesn't. That's what it usually does. So blend it down, even a little bit of this tree in the back. Hit crimson just a little bit. Clean it up. Go with a little bit brighter color on this side, because this is where all the light's going to be reflecting. And yes, if you didn't notice, it's pretty thick paint I'm using, because that's where it gets fun. Blend it through. With these big trees, I just go to town with the big thick paint. Maybe not so much with these smaller trees. These are more of a highlight at the end. With these big trees, kind of go a little bit more crazy. Excuse my grasp excuse my reach rather, as I kind of go along the outside. Pull it out thin if you want to do a very distinct cut. Highlight some of these. There. Okay, now with that big tree, since I added all that color, we're just going to mix it together with a lot of dark color. Pull out that brown pretty thin. And go down the middle of it with some brown. Kind of just blend those two colors together. Something like that. Okay. We'll just leave that disgustingly wet all over my hands, which is always fun. Make a lot of mess that way. Okay, let's go in some browns. A lot of paint thinner. A lot of paint thinner, browns. Spin it, spin the liner brush when you're in it. It helps bring it to a point, as long as it's not blown out like this one. But hey, good chance it's blown out. Okay, and just do this. Bring a little bit of a give it a little bit of different little, I mean, just because it doesn't come out the side, you have a lot of nicks and things that kind of go out each way, these little pines. There you go. Just make it work. Make it work for you. As long as you're happy about it, that's all that matters. There's another one kind of here. Ooh, there it is. There. Brings here. Walks over that rock. And then it's all about light versus dark. If it's light, it'll show up in the dark. If it's dark, it'll show up in the light. It's just like life. You need a little dark to show the light. You need a little light to show the dark. It's necessary. Don't go too crazy. I have a habit of doing that. When it starts feeling good, you just keep going and keep going and keep going. Bring some of this up too. Clean your brush off. Go right back to that dark color. Get it all mixed up fun. And you start going through all these bushes. Bringing up little twigs and sticks. You can also use your knife for this too. You don't need just to use this. You can scrape your knife through there. Bring up little twigs and sticks. That. Go through. Got some more here. The more little areas you do, the more detail, the more depth your painting seems to have too, which is nice. Especially if you get through a little bit of this light color, come back in the back and shoot some up here. Means like light is zinging through all these different little trees and giving little different branches the chances to stand out in that darkness. And the only reason I diffused this before is because sometimes when you're in the deep dark woods, it doesn't have a very crystal clear vibe. It has kind of a diffused light to it. So diffuse that a little bit. Go back in, find some of these colors that aren't completely muddled up yet, which by this time would probably be hard to do because I didn't put a lot of color on the canvas just to do this painting. Find some, tap in some color, pull it through, come back up here, and we just add some nice red bushes, kind of close this guy in. Have a fun time there. Same thing with this guy. Push some bushes up this way, maybe a little bit here, just in the background, just to color that up. Same thing with here. little bit of red mixed in with some dark colors. I call that done. I'll call that one done. Well, here we go. This is the campfire in the woods. I hope you enjoyed that one. Wow, I'm glad you enjoyed that one. Yeah, this is a little campfire in the woods. I've never done this kind of style of painting before, but hopefully you enjoyed it. This has been Paul from PABrewNews with episode 19 of Painting with PABrewNews. I'm really happy that I've got to episode 19 already, and I haven't gone too far past the 30-minute mark. I want to say this around that 30-minute mark. I've told you that before, but this has been episode 19. Looking forward to episode 20. I really am. I didn't really know what I was going to do when I started this one, and kind of surprised myself. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's probably not the best here and there, but hey, that's just me critiquing yourself. And if you're an artist, I hope you're plagued with discontent your whole life, because that's how you get better and better and better and better. And I've been working with this new paint, which is unfortunately a little bit too thin. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad. Thanks for everybody for watching, joining, commenting, and if you ever have a painting style that you'd like to see, let me know. We'll give it a go. Anyway, this has been Paul from PABrewNews, episode 19 of Painting with PABrewNews. Really looking forward to episode 20 coming up at some point in time. We'll see what kind of crazy painting we can do for that. And drunken one, look at all that. I usually don't get this messy. This was worth it. Anyway, this has been Paul from PABrewNews. Drunken one, hit me up. We'll hang out, do whatever. I got some beers. Cheers. Bye-bye. Have a great one. Come on. You can do it.